Welcome back to another episode of Four Wheelin' Healers. Today I'm beginning prep for our next trip. We're going to drive through Nevada, Oregon, and Idaho. We don't have a lot of time, but we're doing a lot of distance, and we're gonna live out of the 4Runner for the whole time, which is not that bad. We're used to it. And I wanted to go over how we store everything and why we store it that way. And I just want to show you guys how we have it set up and maybe give you some ideas, and maybe you can share some ideas with me because, you know, it's always changing, it's always evolving. So over the next few days, I want to go over every little piece of equipment that we stuff into the car, where we put it, and why we carry it. Today I'm going to be starting with our recovery gear, our safety equipment, and some of our first aid stuff. So I just pulled all our recovery gear and safety equipment and tools out of the 4Runner, and oh man, is it a lot. So first I want to start with the recovery equipment. This is all stuff we keep in our gun box on the top of the 4Runner. Now I can't really take responsibility for why we have all this stuff. This is honestly Mike's territory, but I know, traction pads are going to get us out if we're stuck. We've got a snatch block. We've got, plenty of things to pull us out. And if we have a buddy who can pull us out, we can use these guys here. But definitely, if we get stuck between that and our winch, we are good to go. So we don't leave this stuff on the truck all the time. If we are going on our trips, we put it up top, and when we are home, it stays in a little bag. So that's our recovery equipment. The pile's gonna get smaller and smaller as I put things away. All right, so next up we have our auto repair stuff and our tools. So let me show you what we got. Of course, this came with the truck, but we've got a jack and our tools here in case we get a flat tire. We also have tire plugs to repair any large holes. So that's taken care of. We have jumper cables. These we would need to have a buddy with us if we needed to repair. But with this little guy here, let me grab it. This is a little jump starter. It's plenty for if we're on our own and we accidentally drain our battery, we can go ahead and start our engine with that. We carry tools. We don't have a tool roll yet. That's on Mike's Christmas list. So we've got a whole bunch of ratchets and stuff, and I'm trying to organize it because it makes a lot of noise in the car, and that's annoying. We carry fluids with us. We got transmission fluid, oil, and plenty of gasoline. This is the remote for our winch. We actually keep this inside without the recovery gear because it rides in the truck all the time. Mike is definitely getting a tool roll for Christmas. I want to talk about the air compressor. This is not necessarily like a recovery device or safety equipment, but it's something we use really often, and it's a really necessary tool. So we tend to air down before we go on to a trail, and then we tend to air back up when we get back on the road because you don't want to be driving with such low PSI. The lower PSI really makes a difference in your off-road experience, and we have the compressor specifically for it. We just recently decided to keep this compressor in this box and store it on the top with our fluids. All right, so making our way down to first aid. As you can see here, we don't have a very extensive first aid kit. It's definitely something that we want to work on. we're trying to keep, we're always working on this, adding some stuff, and so hopefully we never have to use it, but like definitely want to have some of the little medicines here. You're out in the middle of nowhere, right? So Benadryl, stomach stuff, Tylenol, ibuprofen, saline. I've used this several times because out in the desert it's super dry. You never know what's going to happen, so you try to be prepared. We also have a fire extinguisher. It's got its own little mount. Our vehicle is also our home and our means of getting back, so it's very important that if there is a fire that we're able to extinguish it quickly. And a hatchet, just because. We have our ponchos, emergency blankets, Sam splints, and then miscellaneous items. We've got just some tie downs, and I like to keep those kind of just in a little bag off to the side. You never know when you're going to need a tie down. Forgot to mention a few things. We have a little handheld saw in here that we've used several times to cut down branches, little branches that are hanging and in our way. And we also have some trauma shears here with some gloves, a mag light, and a flashlight. So I like a little eye light. So a few extra things that I forgot to pull out. So that basically sums up our recovery gear, our tools, and our emergency first aid stuff. It's not the most glamorous of topics, but it's super important to have all this stuff with you, just in case something happens. Sometimes it kind of sucks that we're taking up valuable space with things that we probably won't even use, but I would much rather have them with me for the peace of mind, and I know my mom probably feels a lot better. Same with Mike's parents. It's important to make space for the things that, yeah, they might be boring, but they're totally gonna get you out of a bind. There's limited space in a vehicle like a 4Runner, so that's why we have to be very creative and use our storage boxes on top of the roof and utilize under the seats and under our platform. Keep in mind when you're going out on trips that you might need some emergency stuff, and it's better to use the space and have it with you just in case. As I keep prepping for this next trip, I'm gonna show you guys everything I put in here. So the next stuff's gonna be a lot more fun. It's gonna be camping gear and where we store everything in our drawers in the kitchen. So stay tuned. It'll be coming at you this week before we leave. Thank you for watching.